What's up, y'all? Clapback culture back in the building and back in studio. I am your co-host, Jessie, with my co-host, Mike Davis.
Yo, it feels good to be live. We here together. It's been a
Yeah,
long time.
it has. It's been 2 weeks for me being on the show, but this is our first time in studio with all of the production team, you guys, with everybody. So it's beautiful in here.
It is. And I've been here since we've been here, but it doesn't even look the same since last time I was here. So man, shout out to Converge. They've been making it happen.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to be here. This is it's a humbling experience. I came here for the morning update show, sat with Trey, and did all that. So y'all, this is like I'm just excited to be here and to do the show here. So sit back, relax. We got a lot of hot topics for you, and a lot of updates. So let's jump right into it. All right, y'all. On the menu today is a 1-year-old was injured while in police custody, and they were serving a search warrant on the father. His name is Corey Joseph Mariano, and he was a licensed gun owner. Well, the police have not given a lot of reports on why they were, implementing the search warrant to begin with. But while they were doing that, they took into custody 2 of Mariano's children. The 1-year-old baby that we saw, Curtis, if we could put that back up. The 1-year-old little boy, he suffered some injuries. His mother came and picked him up. And if you guys see, his lip is swollen, his nose is scratched, and he has a contusion on his forehead while he was in police custody. The police officer said that he was sitting in the back seat with the child and then got out of the car to help someone pass by in a large vehicle. And when he opened the door, the baby fell out of the car. And this is what happened. So this is a crazy situation all the way around, Mike Davis. But I think, to come home and not only, your partner is locked up, being charged with attempted murder at that, because he shot at the officer. But then your baby is injured. And then your other baby, your 3-year-old, is traumatized by having gone through all of that.
Yeah, there was a lot to unpack with that story. As you mentioned, he was a registered gun owner, so the gun was legal. He was allowed to have it, but it's these warrants that they're serving, no knock, middle of the night. I mean, I think reports say it was around 4:00 in the morning. Police just batter ram the door. He's in there with his kids. They're all asleep together. He lets off a couple shots because he has no idea what's going on. And somehow he's being charged with attempted murder. But I mean, I don't understand what he's supposed to do. And you got a guy here too who has no criminal history. He's never been in trouble before. It makes no sense that they're charging him with attempted murder. And while some of these details are murky, one thing that did stood out to me, and please correct me if I didn't read this right, but the way I read it was the kids were in the police car. There was a truck trying to get through. It kind of got stuck. The police got out of the car and left the kids unattended to go help. Yes. And while they were out of the car, the kid was leaning against the door open, kid falls out. And mom barely even recognized the child upon coming home. I don't even know, as a father, if I come home and my kid is swollen beyond recognition, I mean, I don't even know what I'd do in that situation. But then to also find out that my partner is now being charged with attempted murder, I mean, this is just a wild, wild case.
Wild it is, Mike Davis. Yeah, the details are correct, and we'll keep you guys updated if more information comes out. Honestly, this reminds me of the Mir Lock situation, which is something we're going to talk about with you guys coming up at towards the end of our show. So let's wrap this one up with a bow, but stay tuned because we have more to talk about with the Amir Locke story. Next up is kind of an update, you guys. We talked a lot about the Ahmaud Arbery murder trial. And, the 3 men that were convicted in that case are now, serving a life sentence in prison. But federal prosecutors are going after them on federal hate crime charges. And what they're doing is they're going through posts, social media posts, are going through text messages, and there's a lot of racial epithets, slurs, stereotypes, and death threats aimed at Black people. And so all 3 men have pleaded not guilty to these hate crime charges, but they're standing trial for that. Now, I don't know, Mike, if what we seek to gain from this if you already have a life sentence. But I think that prosecutors are, basically just trying to see this one all the way through, and I can't blame them for that.
No, I can't blame them either. And when they did the murder trial, it seemed like they intentionally stayed away from all of the race stuff. They just kind of focused on the facts of the case. All of the issues with race and discrimination are coming out right now. And, I still think it's interesting to watch how this plays out, just from the perspective of racism has always been such a hard thing to prove in the United States court system. And you have this case, and we all know the details of what happened to Ahmaud Arbery. I don't want to rehash that, but just looking at just some of the statements that were made, particularly by Travis McMichael, who was the shooter, who's on record saying that he used to walk around and commit hate crimes all the time. And if you Google some of the stuff that they've said, I don't even feel it necessary to say it here. It's extremely racist. So I just want to see how it plays out. I mean, look, they're already going to die in prison, so I don't think that there's any more to gain from this. It's just, can they win this case? And if they can, what does it mean for cases like this in the future?
Right. Well, I'm sure, you guys are in the comment section right now talking about what this means. I wish we could see you guys. But with that being said, drop below somewhere in the comments what you think this could be about. Dr. Jackson, I hope you're online watching right now, because you would definitely weigh in on this. So make sure you guys weigh in on that. This week, it's funny, Mike, we talked about this right before the show. We have a lot of court updates, but we always are like really laser focused on a lot of these trials. And so another one of these focuses is on the James and Jennifer Crumbley. They are the parents of the 15-year-old Ethan Crumbley, the Oxford high school shooter, allegedly. We have to say allegedly because, he hasn't been convicted, but we do know that, he was there. Well, they are in a pretrial hearing this week, you guys, and I have been salivating at all 45-minute clips that have been coming through. I have gone down the rabbit hole. This case to me is so fascinating. It's the first in history in terms of like historically showing, we have so many mass shootings at schools, and this is the first time a parent has been on trial. So they are in the preliminary trial, you guys. So what this means is, the prosecutors have to prove that they can be charged. They have enough evidence to charge them with involuntary manslaughter. And so here's what they have to prove, Mike. So when faced with involuntary manslaughter, the prosecution must prove all of the following conditions without a shadow of a doubt. 1, the victim died because of your actions. 2, the actions you took were egregiously negligent, or you intended to cause the victim harm but not necessarily kill them. And 3, you did not have lawful jurisdiction for taking the victim's life. So, like I said, you guys, I've been going down the rabbit hole with this. Please weigh in the comments if you have been watching this as well. Again, obviously the parents have pled not guilty, but Mike, what are your thoughts? Like, what are your initial thoughts on this? And I know you've been seeing this kind of like play out, but this to me, as we're seeing more evidence roll out, we're hearing that Jennifer Crumbley had an affair. We know that she spent a ton of time with her horses. We know that, her colleagues came out and talked about, she felt like, her child was weird, and that he was strange and that he didn't have a lot of friends. And, the mother really was just coming out a lot to say, like, she kind of knew something was wrong with Ethan, that he wasn't quite normal. And, we want to be careful when we say that, but, the mother really felt like, something was kind of up and odd with her son. So with that being said, if there's something kind of odd with your son, do you know that he's going to be this like violent mass shooter? Can you be charged for that?
I wish I could say yes. I think coming in here today, I was ready to sit right here and say, put them under the jail. They did it. But I mean, I think you make a lot of good points, and it's so hard to prove things in a court of law. I think that the court of public opinion, oh yeah, put those parents both in jail. That mom knew that there was something off with her child. I don't want to mix up terminology, but I mean, she had just got called down to the school because he was drawing those very, very disturbing images, and the kid ends up being able to stay at school. But when you go through involuntary manslaughter and you like list those three things out the way that you just listed them, I think it's going to be extremely hard to come back with a guilty verdict, no matter how much we as the public feel like those parents are liable. And I think I don't know the rules on can you give your kid a gun. I don't live in their state.
Okay, don't think about it as the rules. Think about it. You're a parent.
Okay.
You're a parent, and how much control do you have over your child? Like, are you negligent okay, here's the thing. Let's also lay out the facts. The fact of the matter is that Ethan Crumbley was gifted a firearm, the one that he used on November 30th to allegedly kill 4 students at Oxford High School. He was gifted that gun by his parents. That is a fact. Does that mean the parents are negligent? Did they think, you wouldn't gift your kid a gun thinking that he was going to be a mass shooter. But if he's interested in firearms and you gift it to him, like, are you wrong for doing that as a parent? And should you be charged with involuntary manslaughter?
Yes.
And before you say that, I would like to say that the prosecutors they're basically trying to see what the parents knew, when they knew it, and were they negligent. Based on what I've seen, y'all, I don't know. I honestly do not think these charges are going to stick. I don't think they're going to be found guilty. I do not think there's enough evidence in this case to prove it. And I honestly think we are really treading such a slippery slope when we're talking about the responsibility of parents, right? And so this is a 15-year-old kid. You think he's different because he doesn't have a lot of friendships, but how could they know that he was going to do that,
Yeah, I agree. And also, like, I've seen things that say that mom thought that something was off. What I have not seen is a history of violence with the kid. He's drawn pictures, but I haven't seen anything that documents him ever hurting anyone. And I think that is going to play a part in this case. I think also buying him the gun is one thing, but because there was no documented issues with this kid where he hurt people, it's going to be hard to say that just because they bought him the gun, they are at fault. In a court of law, in the court of public opinion, I think it's going to be different, but I don't see them going to jail, and it bothers me. It bothers me a lot.
It doesn't bother me. I'm going to be honest with you guys. It absolutely doesn't bother me based on the pretrial stuff that I've watched. I don't feel they are as negligent as the media has sensationalized. I do think that they do bear some responsibility as parents, absolutely 100%. But I don't think that they would ever think that their child would commit this crime. And I don't think they should be charged with involuntary manslaughter.
Of course, they don't think that their child would commit this crime, but their child was able to go get the gun. I'm a registered gun owner. My kids can't get to my guns because they're locked up. So,
that might be the only thing that sticks.
And that's
honestly
what I'm saying. So when my daughter is old enough, for sure, I plan on teaching her how to shoot a gun. But there will never be a situation where she could walk into the house and have the code to get into the safe, to get to the firearms on her own. And, maybe that'll play a part in this case.
Well, we'll see, you guys. Basically this got some time, and the evidence is still coming out. So until then, we will stay tuned and keep you updated. Kim Potter back in the media, you guys. She's going to court on Friday, and y'all, the prosecutors are pulling back in what they wanted to sentence her. So basically, you guys, that she was found guilty of first degree murder and first degree and second degree manslaughter, for the shooting death of Dante Wright. That was a 20-year-old driver, black man, and she is the one who shot him thinking that she was shooting him with a taser. Nevertheless, the state sentencing guidelines call for a penalty ranging from slightly more than 6 years to about 8.5 years, with the presumption sentence being just over 7 years. So basically, prosecutors are just arguing that they don't want the judge um, to basically pursue anything outside of the guidelines, which initially they did. They wanted to say that there was more evidence in the case that would allow the judge to go outside of those guidelines. And so basically they're just saying, we don't think so anymore. We're going to back off, stay within the guidelines. And then they're saying, we think 7 years is going to be good. So that would be a proper sentence. So Kim Potter, you'll probably get 7 years or less.
Hopefully. I mean, she looks real. Put that back up one more time, Cuddy. Why does she look so confident in her mugshot photo? What does she know that we don't know?
Oh, you know, she's not going to jail.
She's in there Chuck E. Cheesed up. I would also point out, too, that her attorneys are asking for probation. They want no jail time.
She might get it.
Man, she better not get it. I mean, if you read through what they're saying, the reason for her getting probation would be, it's some of the most ridiculous things that I've ever heard. Like, she's going to work with companies that make tasers so that they feel less like guns. Really? I mean, I just...
Sell a book.
White folks, man, white folks. Sometimes white folks just leave me astonished. I hope she gets time. I hope she doesn't just get to walk, especially because, I mean, the initial reports were that Dante Wright was pulled over for the air freshener. Later on, they switched it and said that it was the expired tags. Whether it was air freshener, expired plates, nobody should be losing their lives at a routine traffic stop, especially not by a cop that was a trainer for the police who mistook the taser for the gun. That's a really big error, and I do not think that she should get to walk. They will let us know on Friday. That is when sentencing is, and we'll probably give y'all just a quick 2-minute update next week.
All right, y'all. Well, we're going to go to a break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about Do It for the Culture. Stay tuned.
Everybody now, everybody do your thing.
I'm always here in my studio working from Monday to Saturday.
So art is full time for you.
Full time, yes, full time.
Sweet Belizean girl. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, sweet Belizean girl. Oh, come on.
When the pandemic hit, it did affect me. As a barber, I had my own personal reasons why I didn't get vaccinated. At the time, I didn't check the actual source. I thought the vaccine was developed too fast, but I was talking to a doctor and he was telling me more about the vaccine and what it can do to protect us and our family. I wanted to get back to that once was, right? I do feel safe knowing that I am vaccinated. I just hope what I'm saying is reaching into people's heads to know that this is the best decision for all of us.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.
What's up, y'all? Jules Jessie back with Clapback Culture. So glad to be here in studio with my homeboy, Mike Davis.
Glad to have you here.
Man, look, I told Mike today, you guys, like, I did not even want to rush on the show. I wanted to just like chill, kick it, and like really have a conversation with y'all. I missed y'all. I definitely miss y'all. So look, I got something special. I did a really, really dope Photo shoot today with the Queens of Converge. Shout out to Trey Holiday, to Besa Gordon, and to T-Dub. And T-Dub went ahead and gifted, if we could just do a wide, Cuddy. T-Dub gifted me and Mike with these sweatshirts.
Man, I should have wore this tonight.
Yeah, but I wanted to surprise you.
Well, I was surprised. Hey, shout out to T-Dub.
BAP, Black and Proud. So shout out to T-Dub. We're gonna have Cuddy make sure to drop her handle. We got a commercial. She does Art of the Matter. She's a really, really, really dope chick. And you know, style is crazy. And she actually had that on, Mike, during the photo shoot. And I was like, yo, what's the BAP? And she was like, Black and Proud. I was like, oh, that's fire. And then she came in studio and was like, I got one for all y'all. So it's lit. Yeah, I can't wait to wear it. I gotta go buy some sneakers to you know, rock a full fit. But shout out to T-Dub and thank you for that. And make sure you guys stay tuned because we're gonna drop a clip where you guys can learn more about her. Y'all, the Super Bowl happened last Sunday. Can we go wide? Because I want them to see Mike Davis's reaction. Super Bowl was Sunday, and honestly, I was not going to watch a Super Bowl.
What?
No. I don't care about football. I was chopping it up with Bay. I was on the phone with Rodney, and you know, he was like, I'm gonna call you back because you know, this is the halftime show. And I was like, well, let's, you know, just stay on the phone so I can hear it. And anyway, y'all, I got a jailbroken Fire Stick. Shout out to the homeboy out in Philly. So I actually was able to see the Super Bowl because I don't got cable. Okay, let's keep it 100. But the halftime show, Mike Davis, was so fire.
Best part of the Super Bowl.
So fire.
Best
I
part of
mean,
the Super Bowl.
It made me so proud to be from the West Coast. Like, honestly, I was in there, just hitting the C-Walk, doing everything. I mean, I think we got an overlay of all the artists that were there. Cuddy, can you pull that up for us? Oh, yeah. Dr. Dre came through. He brought out the big homie Snoop Dogg, brought out Eminem, brought out 50, who's not on the overlay.
Surprise.
And
Mary J. Blige. Kendrick
Queen,
Lamar.
Killed it. Kendrick, the Slim Shady baby. It was such a mix of West Coast culture. Like, I sent all the little memes and gifs to the homegirls, like just on my.
For real, man. And I wish we had the picture that showed everybody, because the color scheme was clear. They all got on black. Mary J's in white. Snoop's wearing a Crip flag. That was
absolutely
heat. That was heat.
Ooh, he killed it too. You know, I mean, shout out to our men in blue. You know, my daddy was a triple OG from Peru, but you know, it's safe, it's cool, it is what it is. But man, I loved it. It was so I'll say it was hella authentic. You know, I lived on the East Coast a long time. I didn't forgot my little West Coast swag. But when I watched it, I was like, oh, this is like my whole childhood. This is all my teen years. So all the Gen Xers, I know they watched it. They was like, why is this cool? Who are these people?
They didn't know. They didn't get it. That's because it was for us. It was for us. But I got to holler at Cuddy because I don't even know if Cuddy's going to even know. He might not have been feeling it the way that we was. Well, okay, cool. Okay, so then Cuddy was playing Do or Die when I came in here today. So you never even know what Cuddy, man. He be up. But nah, the Super Bowl, this was the best one that I've seen in my life. I know that y'all rock with the Prince, you rock with the Michael Jackson. That's cool, no shade. But this right here,
this right here,
man, you know, I got the surround sound. We had to turn it up.
Okay.
We had a party during halftime, so that was fire.
It was fire. So what are your thoughts on Eminem taking a knee?
I mean, to be real, I think that because of how Eminem positions himself and who he kicks it with, I think that sometimes America forgets that Eminem is a rich white man. You can't tell rich white men in America what to do. Once Eminem decided that he was going to take a knee, the NFL wasn't going to be able to do nothing to him. Now, you know, you see Kendrick Lamar got his little bar, you know, blanked out, but Kendrick ain't on Eminem status. You see, they let Dr. Dre say how he felt about the police because Dre got that bag. So Eminem is in a place where he's going to do what he wants to do. And if he wants to take a knee for the folks, then, you know, that's what's up.
Yeah, I kind of thought the same thing. Y'all. I was like, well, if it had to be anyone, let it be our white ally.
Yeah,
So
be the
shout
ally.
out to Eminem for being the ally and sticking it to the people, sticking it to the man.
And also shout out to Eminem for doing the song that he did. Because man,
yeah.
I was afraid that he might try to come out
Electrical.
here and do some new stuff, and we ain't really feeling Eminem's new stuff.
I didn't even know he had new
Oh my
stuff.
God, you shouldn't know that he has new. Don't even check for that. He did. He stayed in the lane where we needed him to be. Then he took his knee. So shout out to Eminem. He did his thing too.
Yeah, it was overall, y'all. It was such a good show. Like, I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed watching it. I enjoyed dancing in the room by myself. It was a whole mood. It was a schmood. And before we move on, do you know that Basa Gordon came on the morning update and said that she absolutely was not impressed?
How
Y'all slide into my sister's DMs and tell her stop what you doing.
For real, man. Yo, 50 Cent, man. I don't know where y'all was when Get Rich or Die Trying dropped.
Come on.
Every single that's the first CD that I downloaded on the internet back in the day on LimeWire. I don't know if y'all remember LimeWire, but Get Rich or Die Trying, man.
As Cuddy would say, come on. Yeah, nah. 50 Cent coming down from the Raptors like that. I was like, oh, it's getting crazy. It was crazy. I loved every single moment of it. And the game was good too. After the halftime show, I stayed and watched the game. And I did. And it was very good. And I learned that Donald, I don't know his first name. What's his name? Oh, Aaron Donald. Very good football player. I was shocked. I didn't know that a lineman would have so much
Are you serious?
like so much power in the game. And he won the game.
Rodney, man, what's going on? She ain't watching no football.
I was asking him, because Rodney, he did play, college football. And I was like, babe, what position did you play? And he, I know he played lineman, but I was like, are you like Aaron Donald? Like, were you supposed to do that? I just was looking at him in the uniform. I just thought he was just so sexy in his uniform. I was like, oh, he's so cute.
Man, Aaron Donald's the best player on their team, like hands down. So
okay, yeah. Listen, I was just trying to see Bay in his little spandex pants and stuff. So, but Aaron Donald is a beast, and I learned a lot from the game. And I was like, dang, like this kid is like going crazy. And then like his interview afterwards, it was just like, oh my God, it was so emotional. I really love. I hate to see the players lose. It's just like, it's heartbreaking, but I love to see the team that wins. And then like how it's just such a dream fulfilled for a lot of those players out there, Mike. So the Super Bowls, it was nice. I enjoyed it. Like I actually really enjoyed it.
It was fun.
All right, y'all. So another thing in sports is the inaugural HBCU and NBA game. Mike, take it away and tell us about this.
I'm excited. I don't even know why I'm so excited for this, but I'm so excited for this, man. Like, shout out to the HBCUs. Man, I wish I would have went to one, but it is what it is.
Is it?
Life comes at us. But what I will say is, shout out to the NBA. They're launching a partnership with HBCU. So on NBA All-Star Weekend, they're having the inaugural, because this is supposed to be the first of many, basketball game where they're going to let the HBCU two teams are going to play.
Howard is playing against Morgan State, which I don't know why they would choose those two schools. Cuddy,
of course they chose
Cuddy.
Howard.
Well, okay. Okay. Okay, so that's Howard, but then why Howard versus Morgan State? I mean, listen, I live in DC. Shout out to all my folks that's a Bison. And behold the green and gold to all my Spartans watching and tuning in. It's still the green and gold for me. Cuddy, he's hating in the back. He went to Hampton. Okay, the real HU is playing in the game.
Wow.
Howard University.
Wow.
We're gonna be in here fighting. But you know what? It's all love. It really is all love. I really love that this is happening. I mean,
and that's not even it though.
Okay, so what's it? I'm sorry.
They're also donating $100,000 to both schools. So I mean, look, it's a win-win all around. And from what I've seen, next year they're going to come back with 2 different schools. So there'll be other HBCUs that'll get a chance.
This is good. I mean, it's a fun-filled story. I mean, we talked a lot about people going to jail and you know, so this is good. And you know, at the end of the day, we love to see it.
Yeah, man. And the players get shine, man. They're going to be on TNT. This is the biggest stage that they'll probably play on. So this is super dope.
True. All right. Well, and this is another story that I wanted to bring you guys. The mayor in New York, Mayor Eric Adams. I'm really liking this guy. He's the newly elected mayor in New York. And he sat down with drill rappers after proposing a ban on the music for promoting violence. Cuddy, do we have a clip? Okay, great. We have a clip. We're going to play that meeting that that Mayor Adams had, and then we're going to come back and talk about it.
Mayor Adams met with a group of drill rap artists last night. He's criticized the music genre for contributing to the rising violence in the city.
But as CBS 2's Andrea Klein-Thomas explains, the mayor and the rappers were able to come to an agreement.
It's been a lot of talk about drill rap, drill music, New York City, connecting violence with the culture.
Late Tuesday evening, drill rappers met with Mayor Eric Adams, who's been critical of their music, saying it's causing a spike in violence. But Brooklyn rapper Bleezy says the meeting was productive.
And we got a chance to speak to him as brothers, as we should, and we got a perfect understanding of what's going on.
Drill rap came under renewed scrutiny after 18-year-old artist Jaquan McKinley's murder earlier this month, leading Mayor Adams to call for the music's removal from social media.
Violent people who are using drill rapping to post who they killed and then antagonize the people who they are going to kill is what the problem is.
People look at the videos or listen to the lyrics and stuff, it's going to be characterized as, you know, talking about guns, talking about money, talking about...
But that's just a music period at every genre.
While Bleezy admits some artists go too far.
If you ain't experienced poverty, you shouldn't even have your opinion on anybody's moment.
Bleezy says he focuses on the hardships in Brownsville, adding addressing the real root of violence goes well beyond any lyrics.
The community is like, it's like, there's no hope, there's no opportunities. No, we just making music so we could get out of these places.
The meeting with Mayor...
Yeah, y'all. So this is crazy. And honestly, I'm glad that Mayor Adams had this meeting with the music rappers, whatever you want to call them. I would even say advocates, right? Community advocates. Like, these are the people that really understand what's going on and can have some say so. And I'm glad that he brought the conversation to the forefront. And a lot of people are going to look and be like, well, why did he pull back? But, you know, after having these conversations, you guys, I think it was important for him to say, you know what? Let them go ahead and take an internal approach. You guys know I work for Councilmember Trayon White. He's a DC legislator. And, you know, in some of our conversations amongst the team, you know, this conversation of, you know, the parallel between the music and the violence has come up. And there is YouTube videos that document, you know, beefs from uptown and to guys who are beefing with people, you know, in Southeast or Northeast or wherever. And it's just, it lays it out. And so what happens is, you know, I'm a rapper and I got beef with somebody and I'm going to, you know, basically call it out in the song. And it's used to basically, you know, shoot that shot so that the other rapper can hear it. And people are really legitimately dying and losing their life. And these beefs are right there in plain sight. And so I stand with Mayor Adams that, you know, social media channels absolutely need to be more responsible. And if they have some of this stuff, they need to pull it. You know, at the end of the day, Mike, I'm about to be 35 years old.
Woo!
Yeah, I am, proudly. I'm a grown woman in these streets. I don't want to see another child buried. I don't want to see another mother broken, another girl without their baby father because of these, you know, this violence. Like, it's real. When I say our council members going to a funeral every week, it's like 2-3 every week. this thing is real. Like, it is so real. And so I think because what happens is we think it doesn't happen, it doesn't affect us. And particularly here, I would even argue in Seattle, where if you're, if you're not really in touch with this population, then you just feel like it's not happening. But crime is not down. And like he said, it's down the street, around the corner, around your mama house. I mean, in this last month, 2 people just got shot up at the end of my block, and I just bought my house. You know what I'm saying? It's been 4 people murdered on my block since I bought my house, and I only been in my house 6 months. So crime is blowing up, and a lot of it is these kids is getting younger and younger, 14 years old, 13 years old, 12 years old, and they don't have nothing. So I'm with him in terms of meeting with the rappers and, these individuals who have, access to this population. But I absolutely think that we should be pulling this music, because this is what's, it's like pulling the trigger.
Man, I think you laid it out really well. And in full transparency, as far as Mayor Eric Adams, I'm not as up on him. I mean, I know you're on the East Coast, but also y'all know we got a lot going on with our own mayor in Seattle, and that's kind of where my focus is. But one thing I will say is I definitely appreciate how he's seen the problem. He came out strong on how he wanted to address the problem. Then community stepped up and had concerns about how strong he was in that approach. So then he went and he sat down with some rappers and some community members, and he had that conversation, and then he backed up on his position. And I mean, it's just shout out to him for that. Like, that's how politics is supposed to work for our communities. You're supposed to have the politician who identifies the problem, but you should also listen to what people are saying, and it should also be a collaborative effort to address these issues. And I have to commend him on the way that after having those conversations, he altered his position while still making sure that public safety is at the core of how they're going to move forward.
Yeah, couldn't agree more with you, Mike. And it's a step in the right direction. We absolutely have to do something to change the trend in public safety. But again, it's about having the right people sit at the table and having these conversations. Do you know that gun violence is a real disease? You don't just wake up one day and you have to think about the mind, the environment that the shooter has to be in and how they got there. And so it is a diagnosable disease. And so we have to figure out how to rectify that situation. And it's going to take wraparound services. It's going to take, having more youth-led programs. We need to open back our recreation centers. We need to have, community-based organizations funded so that they can support youth in doing things. We have to start at an elementary school age. The great thing about growing up in Seattle is I always had something to do. Mike, my mom never let me have no idle time. We never got to sit at home and just kick back and just have absolutely nothing to do. Do you know that we get calls from parents talking about the community centers closing at 6 o'clock? We had late night where the community center didn't close until 1 o'clock in the morning.
It's a privilege. It's a privilege that we have here in Seattle to have the community center system that we have, where literally every community center has one. I think we were up to like over 26 the last time I worked for Parks. So, and I know we got to go to break, but everything that you say, I mean, is absolutely right. We do need wraparound services. It does need to start young, but we also need to continue to see politicians who are actually willing to work with community, but also listen to the feedback that they're receiving.
Yep. All right, y'all. Well, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we want to talk to you about the Amir Locke case. Rest in peace to Amir Locke. We'll be back.
Everybody now, everybody do your thing.
I'm always here in my studio working from Monday to Saturday.
So art is full time for you.
Full time, yes, full time.
Sweet Parisian girl. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, sweet Parisian girl. Oh, come on.
Every student who wants to play music should have the opportunity to. Do you know any young people that are excited to start learning music or pick their instrument back up? Seattle Jazz Ed is now enrolling for spring classes. Open to youth across the area, all music programs are offered on a sliding scale, pay-what-you-can model, and free loaner instruments are available for every family. Taught by some of Seattle's finest artists, classes are designed to meet musicians where they are in skill level with options for beginner, intermediate, and advanced level. And this season, we're opening up ensembles with options for drummers, vocalists, and instrumentalists of all kinds. Registering for March classes can be done online or over the phone, and you can learn more by checking out seattlejazzed.org or calling or texting 206-324-JAZZ.
When the pandemic hit, it did affect me. As a barber, I had my own personal reasons why I didn't get vaccinated. At the time, I didn't check the actual source. I thought the vaccine was developed too fast, but I was talking to a doctor and he was telling me more about the vaccine and what it can do to protect us and our family. I wanted to get back to that once was, right? I do feel safe knowing that I am vaccinated. I just hope what I'm saying is reaching into people's heads to know that this is the best decision for all of us.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.
All right, y'all. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Sad story here that we're going to talk about. Again, another technically armed Black man, young 22-year-old Amir Locke was murdered in his home or in his cousin's home in the middle of the night after the police department entered with a no-knock warrant. We thought the days of Breonna Taylor were behind us, but they absolutely are not. And when they went in, the SWAT team went in and they executed him while he was under the covers, asleep on the couch. Amir Locke was 22. He did not have a criminal record. He was a licensed gun owner. What we know about him is, he's just an average kid, 22, trying to figure it out. He was an aspiring music artist. He was doing DoorDash, in between to make money, which we know a lot of that. I mean, people make good money off that. So that's not anything to shy away from. And he had plans to move back to Dallas with his parents, he was just kind of in transition. More facts have come out on the case that the no-knock warrant was actually issued for his cousin, whom he was crashing, whose house he was at the time. His parents laid him to rest with community members, attorney Ben Crump, and other, activists, civil rights activists. And, this is just such an intensely sad story that here we are talking about the same thing. I mean, we watched the footage, you guys. We watched them sensationalize Amir Locke. We watched them, zoom in on the fact that he went to reach for his firearm and then he was killed, 10 seconds into the police arriving. And so this is another tragedy. And, I'm just absolutely just dumbfounded on how we're here again.
Yeah. And it feels like we were just here at the top of the show. It was a very similar situation. And, early reports from the case with Corey, with the two youngsters, was that his name wasn't on that warrant either when they came in his house. Like, he had nothing to do with that situation. So these warrants where the police are coming in people's house and killing them who have nothing to do with why the police are there, or, let alone the fact that it sure feels like Black folks aren't allowed to own guns. You could go through the process and you could have your legal gun, but if you use it in self-defense, you can still be charged with attempted murder, or worse, you could just end up murdered yourself. Yeah. I just don't understand why we have to keep having these conversations and why we have to keep arriving in these same places. I mean, Amir Locke shouldn't be dead right now.
No,
He shouldn't be. So it just hurts my heart that we keep ending up. It's like a circle, like it just keeps going and going and going.
There's a lot of trauma that I have around SWAT teams and, you know, search warrants. I've experienced 2 SWAT teams, right? You know, when I was a young kid, I was about in 6th grade, and in full transparency, you know, there was a warrant issued on my father, and the SWAT team came in, and I was, you know, a 6th grader. And of course, you know, I was looked a little bit older for my age, but the Seattle Police Department held me down with an AK-47 and told me to get the F on the ground or they were going to shoot me. And so, you know, I'm 11 years old. And so I have a lot of trauma when I think about this, and from experience, I can tell you, I was the person who opened the door at 11 years old to let them in. I honestly thought it was a marching band outside, you guys. And the police department will always tell you, but we said it's the police, search warrant, open the door, open the door. Your brain does not connect the dots that fast. I've lived through the experience more than once, you guys, unfortunately, more than once. You do not understand what the police are saying when they come in and issue that search. And not only do they do that, they're coming in guns blazing. And I can only imagine, as a licensed gun owner, if you think someone is breaking in this situation, Amir Locke, they used a key to open the door. And then they bum rushed him. He barely had any opportunity to get his faculties together, and he reached for his weapon, his licensed firearm that he has to protect himself. What I can tell you is he never had an opportunity to live. And so this is more than a tragedy. It's a homicide. And we absolutely need to rethink how we're conducting police business in order to execute these warrants. Why are we doing, you know, I understand there has to be, you know, a moment of, you know, catching someone off guard, Mike, but I think there could be a better way to do this.
Well, I think you're right. But I think what strikes me is the fact that the police don't have to assume any of the risk. Like the police, they do a no-knock warrant, and look at the times that they keep doing this. Like, I don't have the time that they ran in on Amir Locke right in front of me, but I feel like it was also super early in the morning when he was asleep.
Yeah, it was like 5 a.m.
So it's like, where is the responsibility to the police when you're running in someone's house like that? Like, it
ain't no responsibility. I was 11 years old and they handcuffed me. What can I do? I don't have a weapon. I don't even have a driver's license. I'm a kid. I'm a baby. I'm a child, and I'm handcuffed. Me and my brother are handcuffed, sitting on a couch, gunned down, handcuffed.
Yeah, it's just
my mom had to ask them to please. My daughter is 11 years old. Please take the handcuffs off my child. They don't care. When we talked about, you know, even the young child in police custody who, you know, the accident where the accident allegedly, but they left the child unattended in the car, a 1-year-old baby and a 3-year-old baby. Like, come on, we can't do that. We can't continue to think that even makes sense. Why would you ever leave a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old baby unattended in a car to help anybody get through? You're talking about when you execute a search warrant, there's hundreds of police there. There's more than enough people to help a vehicle pass by. You absolutely don't leave a child unattended. So I think you're right. There's no oversight.
Let that black mom have left her kids unattended, and then one of the kids ends up getting hurt like that, because now the state's coming. So it makes no sense why the police officers just get away with that.
Well, I think in the Amir Locke case, we're actually absolutely going to see this go to court. The officer is on paid leave, as we know.
Shout out to the taxpayers.
Shout out to the taxpayers' dollars paying into that, and then they wonder why we shout defund the police. So there's a lot to think through here. You know, this baby is just being laid to rest. His parents just laid him to rest. He has a active mother and father. So
can I just say though, we have 2 cases here. no-knock warrants. We got 2 young black kids with licensed weapons. We got one of them facing attempted murder charges and the other one is dead. What option do they have when the police run in the spot, not even looking for them?
Crazy. Which is why we have to get rid of the no-knock warrants, period, point blank, period. They have to be abolished. But look, you guys, we are out of time. That is our show today. If we can just go back to wide, y'all, it's been a pleasure. I'm so glad to be in studio. I wish I could be here next week to do it again.
Man, you're not trying to extend that vacation?
Nah, I can't do it. Nah, we're actually going back in office. So
you're not remote.
No, well, we're doing hybrid schedule as of next week. We're gonna go back next week. I'm actually like the week after. So luckily, I'm still able to work remotely here. So I work today and I'll work tomorrow. But yeah, we're back in office. I had to get a booster.
Wow.
Yeah.
We should have talked about that.
Well, we can talk about it real quick. Man, I'm telling you, I got my booster. Okay, so here's what's interesting about me getting my booster, you guys. I got 2 doses of Moderna, and I wanted to put this on the show, but you guys saw it, or maybe you didn't see, the CEO of Moderna sold $200 million worth of his shares and then deleted his Twitter account all in the same day. Child,
why wouldn't you put that in?
I mean, we'll talk about it next week, but your girl went and got that Pfizer booster. Thank you very much, because I don't know what's going on with Moderna.
Oh, that's real? Like, that's reported?
Yeah, that's real. I wouldn't come out here and just be funny about that. God. No, I'm serious. And I'm absolutely serious that I got Pfizer instead.
Oh, yeah, we're going to have to talk about that next
I
week,
mixed
though.
and matched it. So I
you're
feel good, though.
safe. Yeah, they say, though, that was the safest way to go, though, was to mix. Just don't mix the Johnson & Johnson. Just mix the other 2.
Did you hear that it's good to mix?
That.
Oh, okay.
I didn't hear that. I did not hear that, so I'm just playing. That's not real.
On.
Don't
you know
take
what?
my
They're
word
gonna
on
flag
that.
this video now. Oh my God, you've been watching too much.
Seems like
too
it
much
makes
Seth
sense.
Rogen
It makes sense
for
in my
you.
head. You never know.
Come on, man. Hey, did you see? And they got your boy Seth Rogen all tied up too. We'll talk about that next week.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, y'all. Mike Davis, when you're not here on Clapback Culture, where can I find you?
You can find me at the South Seattle Emerald, but Wednesday mornings, man, I'm right here with Owen Trey on the Morning Update Show. So Thursday nights, I'm here with Julia. Wednesdays, I'm with Owen Trey. Check me out.
All right, y'all. And I'm Jules Jessie. You guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Treasure of JULES. You know what it is. Slide in my DMs. Please let me know what you want to hear about next week. I won't be here next week in studio, but I'll be here virtually. And I'm going to go have a conversation with Omari to see if I can get this 6K camera set up back in DC so I can be nice and crispy for you guys. All right, y'all. Well, it's been a great show. We love y'all. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.
Peace.